Can Blinks and armies just shut the full fuck up? Please? What's up, hookers and sluts? It's me, Jimin's pinky toe, back on your screens, for whatever the fuck reason. Today we're diving into a topic that shouldn't exist anymore in 2025, but somehow still does. Fan wars. Yes, the petty, embarrassing, keyboard-smashing nonsense that makes enjoying K-pop feel like dodging bullets. Let's talk about my thoughts on it and why this needs to stop. For real. When I first got into K-pop, fan wars were this thing I kept hearing about in commentary videos. But since I wasn't on Twitter yet, I didn't get it. My feed was full of crack edits, memes, and performance clips. It wasn't until 2019, when I joined Twitter, that I started getting a taste of the toxic side. Even then, it wasn't super wild. Some hate here and there, but nothing I'd call a full-on fan war. But over the past few years, I saw shit get ugly. But now that BTS are out of the military and Blackpink are on tour, things went from ugly to straight-up grotesque. Lately, I've been seeing constant fights between armies and Blinks online. Like, both fandoms suddenly feel activated now that both groups have reunited, but instead of celebrating that both groups are back and thriving, y'all are acting like it's the Hunger Games. I mean, every other tweet I see on Twitter is those fandoms going at each other's throats. A Blink will say something shady about BTS completely unprovoked, then an army retaliates by dragging Blackpink, and the cycle just keeps going. Witnessing both sides go back and forth is literally so disheartening and gross. By the way, just to be transparent, since I'm an army, most of what I see comes from army Twitter. Naturally, that means I'm more exposed to the side where armies are defending BTS or clapping back. But I know it goes both ways. If you're a Blink, your feed probably shows the opposite. Armies starting it and Blinks responding. So, while I fully recognize that both sides can be toxic, most of the examples I'll bring up are just based on what I personally see. Anyways, back to what I was saying. At some point, this whole back and forth just stops being entertainment and starts becoming a headache. It's like every little moment, every interaction, every harmless gesture turns into a new reason for fans to go to war. And for what? The whole thing is just exhausting. Y'all really know how to suck the joy out of everything. For example, when J-Hope showed up to support Blackpink on tour, it should have been a wholesome moment, a cute little crossover. But instead, people made it a battlefield. Like, can y'all let the man exist in peace? He went to support his friends, not to fuel your imaginary war. Why is that a problem? And the wild part is, situations like that should be reminders that these idols are human. They have friendships, they care about each other off stage. But instead of seeing that and thinking, wow, that's cool, some of y'all see it as a threat to your faves and immediately jump into attack mode. And that's where it starts to get ridiculous. And before we go any further, I know what some of you are thinking. But Jimin's pinky toe, your content isn't exactly sweet and wholesome either. You're not one to talk. And to that I say, suck my dick. Yeah, I can be a blunt bitch, but I don't attack idols for sport. I do it because I have something to say and I want to see what others have to say to what I had to say. I give my honest critiques and opinions, whether that's about music, performance, or stage presence. But I'm not out here tearing down another group just to make BTS look better. I'm not weaponizing hate. There's a difference between opinion and hatred. I don't hate any idol or group I have ever made a video about, and I would never come for those people for anything other than what they show us on stage or through their music. What really pisses me off about fan wars is when people attack groups not because of something they did, but just because they're popular. Like, that's it? Like, you're telling me you hate Blackpink just because they're as big as BTS? And vice versa? That's so corny, and it's giving insecure. I might make a video on Blackpink's tour later on if I feel like it, and I might talk about how it's lackluster, because to me, it is. And that's fine. That's not me being hateful. That's me expressing my opinion. But what I won't do is bash the girls personally or bring BTS into it when they have nothing to do with my critique. That's where the line is. You can have opinions, positive or negative. That's normal. BTS is my alt group and I love them to death, but I'm not afraid to admit when something they do doesn't hit. Whether it's a song, vocals, whatever. I've got enough brain cells to accept fair criticism when it's actually fair. It doesn't mean I love them any less. It just means I'm not delusional. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. But what I don't like is when I, for example, made a video sharing a take about Lisa's album, not even bashing her as a person or idol, just genuinely talking about her musical identity. And suddenly so many blinks decided to bring Jimin into the convo completely unprovoked and start dragging him for no reason. Like, huh? Why are you coming for that man when I didn't even mention him? And the thing is, as an army, I can acknowledge that Jimin struggles with his vocals. Hell, he knows it. That's not new. But to weaponize that and throw him into a convo he wasn't even a part of just to deflect from someone else being critiqued? That's not defending your fave. That's being weird. It'd be different if I was out here saying, Lisa could never sing like Jimin, or my faves are better than yours. But if I'm coming from an unbiased place just sharing my thoughts, I expect an unbiased response. Or better yet, sit with what I said, think critically, and if you still disagree, cool. But don't drag unrelated idols into it just because your ego can't handle someone not praising your bias 24/7. And that right there, that's my issue with fan wars. They're rarely about the actual idols. They're rooted in insecurity, projection, and this toxic need to prove your fave is superior at all costs. You don't actually hate that other group. You just feel threatened by their success and feel like your alt group is the best at everything and believe everyone should think that way too. But it's like people can't grasp the idea that more than one group can be successful at the same time, and some people don't share the same opinion as you. And instead of focusing on the actual music or artistry of K-pop, people get weirdly obsessed with numbers, records, views, and clout. It's giving K-pop stock market. Quit this weird obsession with proving your fave is better. Because here's the truth. They're all good. They're all successful. They're all icons. Like if someone criticizes Blackpink's dancing and then a Blink replies with an out-of-context rehearsal clip of Yoongi like, my faves outdanced your faves. Like, be serious. Are we really doing this? And let's not forget, most of these idols are cool with each other. Blackpink and BTS. Yeah, they're friends. They've interacted, supported each other, even possibly dated if we want to go full tinfoil hat. Jennie and Taehyung, I'm looking at y'all, but nothing was confirmed, so I'm not about to speculate and sound like a Delulu-ass shipper. But the point is, if they're cool with one another, what the full fuck are y'all arguing about and for? We've seen countless positive interactions between both groups. So what does that tell you? It should tell you that they have no beef, so why do you? Why are Blinks and armies beefing when the people they stan are literally unbothered and living their best lives? Are you fighting to prove your group is better? More successful? More relevant? Newsflash, they're both insanely successful. You don't need to drag one to uplift the other. They both dominate charts, break records, sell out arenas, have global influence. You're not winning anything by arguing about who sang live more or who got more Spotify streams. It's K-pop, not a war report. And this isn't just a Blinks versus ARMY problem. I know that. I'm aware that multiple fandoms are toxic and have fan wars. But I'm just talking about these two specifically because from what I'm seeing, they are really going at each other's necks right now. I wish I could show y'all all the tweets I've seen, but I don't engage with that mess. So it's not like I have it saved somewhere. I had to search up some, and I will insert the ones I found here. Anyway, I saw people argue over the stupidest of shit like brand deals, Bruno Mars, dancing and vocal ability, music video similarities, quote-unquote, both groups relying on Western features, and so much more. Like, y'all, it's summer. Go outside, go hang out with your friends, go read a book, go on a walk, and if all else fails and you're still feeling to engage in fan wars, then go to hell. You're fighting a battle they don't even acknowledge. You think Rosé and Jungkook are sitting around comparing streaming numbers? Nope, they're laughing at y'all from the sidelines. And I get it. Sometimes you see something that rubs you the wrong way. Maybe someone disrespects your bias or posts a shady tweet, but like it gets to a point where you have to realize you're taking the piss. Especially when it's over something dumb like a hairstyle or a choreo move that you think looks too similar. This shit is not that serious. At the end of the day, fan wars are stupid. You're out here fighting a war your idols don't even know about, or worse, wouldn't even approve of. They're out here living, supporting each other, and you're out here trying to turn every positive thing they do into a negative. Why? For what? Validation? Bragging rights? A digital crown? You can have your opinions, crack your little jokes. That's fine, but stop turning every discussion into a bloodbath. BTS and Blackpink are not in competition. They're in their own lanes. They're both legends in their own right. I promise you, BTS and Blackpink aren't in group chats plotting against each other. So why are you? So stop fighting a war your idols aren't even enlisted in. Be a fan, not a foot soldier.